Alistair, thank you so much for coming in today. Can we start by you telling me a little bit about Somfy?
Yeah, and thank you for having me, Davina. Somfy is a French global corporate. We're world leader in automation for solar shading is our core business. Australia subsidiary, we've been in the market for over 30 years.
Fantastic. Well, to bring this to life, I wanted to ask you about, one of your showcase projects, 200 George Street, and see if you could talk us through that project a little bit and how you're involved and how the product was used.
Yeah, so 200 George Street's one of my favourite projects. I was heavily involved with that right from the get-go. So we worked extremely closely with the facade manufacturers around incorporating the solar shading, the motors and the control system into the project and into the facade specifically. So there's a lot of work involved. Then when the project kicked off, we actually did all the supply, obviously the motors and the control system, but we did the install and commissioning and ongoing servicing of the controls as well.
Fantastic. Well, can you tell me some of the key learnings coming out of that project around facade design, energy performance, those kinds of items?
Yeah, the big thing for us was 200 George Street is a fabulous example of the solar shading being designed at the same time as the facade and as the rest of the building. Often solar shading is a little bit of an add-on, particularly if it's internal blinds. And the beauty of that particular project was that designing it that way from the start meant that everything was integrated, everything was designed, the control strategy.
The glass.
Was designed right from day one. So the outcome on that, and if you look at, say, the HVAC design, we know that they used about 50% less chill beams on the facade. So then the energy saving, running costs on that reduced reduced energy consumption from the HVAC.
And the capital saving from that part of the design as well.
Absolutely. I mean, that's an example of really good example of changing the way they invested into the project. So they took from the HVAC budget and then they could put it into having a higher performance facade.
Well, look, and I mean, the two are so integrated and so interrelated, but we often consider them in industry to be separate line items in budgets. So, look, with resilience being a key focus for industry, can you just talk us through a little bit of how your solutions relate to resilience for industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're seeing building facades haven't changed a lot over the years. The typical curtain wall, that's been around for a long time. When you're seeing facades like 200 George Street, and there's others in Australia as well, One Bligh Street jumps to mind, those facades have got a high level of performance right from the get-go. So a building like that's got an adaptable facade, it's not a static type of facade, they're going to be in a better position over the years to change and adapt to the changing climate. So if we're getting more sunny, warmer, longer days, then it's simply the control systems will keep the facade, the blinds closed more often and prevent the energy coming into the building in the first place.
Fantastic. Well, obviously innovation is the heart of a lot of the things you do. What drives innovation in your company?
Everything. As a global corporate, we can take innovation from all over the world. So Europe is a key market for us. The improvement in control solutions and technologies, protocols, things like that. Things like shadow management, which again, 200 George Street's a great example of that. Anyone who's watched the facade over a period of time, you see shadows and blinds reacting and things like that. So again, it's around constant improvement in a product offer and an ability to deliver that offer to the market.
Fantastic. Well, Alistair, thank you so much for joining us today. Extremely topical to look at how we can take passive design elements and really bring that to the focus of modern design. So thank you so much.
Cool, and thank you for having me.